Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Film Busters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusters.pod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters.
So, Ben's not here, but I have something to reveal to you, Adam.
What, have we got someone else here?
No one's here. It's just something big has happened in my life. It's pretty much a game changer. And I was thinking, I'm going to tell the boys next time on the next time of podcast, but seems like I'm telling you, Ben can just find out naturally, like every other listener does.
Have you found like a new website or something?
No. It's a big game changer. Okay, so I went home one day, and we just watched Furiosa, me and Zoe. So we were thinking, okay, let's watch Fury Road, right? So that because she'd watched it before, but I wanted to watch it again anyway, just to get like a grip of Furiosa as a character. And so I just threw it on streaming, and then I thought, oh, that's weird. I didn't get my steelbook out, and then I thought, this is the first time in ages I've even come to a film that I wanted to rewatch, and I didn't get a steelbook out. So I started contemplating, why do I have these steelbooks?
Oh God, you're going to start selling them again now, aren't you?
I already have, Adam. I've already started. I'm just going to wipe the slate clean. I've got to the point now. It's like, and the thing is, because I've been, I'm a very troubled person, Adam, right? Because I don't do things by half, right? I have to do it the full hog, or I don't do it all. When I play computer games, I have to do them 100%, right? That's my thing. I have to do it. It's almost consumes me till I have to do it. Hence why I don't really play games anymore, because I know it. Like, I've got an addictive personality with a side of OCD, I reckon. Like and after this point, I was thinking, these are the steelbooks I still need to get. And with me, getting a steelbook is almost like a guideline to whether I like that film enough, right? That's what I had it as.
Yeah.
And then
just like your 9s and above, wasn't it?
Yeah. I used to get 9s and above, right? But sometimes I won't let a film get to a 9 if I'm thinking, oh God, I've got to get the steelbook. That's sometimes what goes through my head.
Oh, cool, yeah, because you're like, I've got to spend money on this.
Yeah, that is not a good thing, because I'm not actually
enjoying the film.
Enjoying a film, right? And that's the thing that actually happens. I was thinking about the X-Men films the other day, right? And I thought, you know what X-Men film I love is Days of Future Past, right? That's a wicked X-Men film. And I used to give it a 9 out of 10, right? And then I lowered it because I didn't want to have the whole X-Men collection. So it got to a point when I was like, I need to just stop this, because I need to have a little bit of freedom and not have these steelbooks anymore, because
it's consuming
one thing it's consuming me, it's taking over, it's making me spend money on something that's sitting there and I don't watch.
Also, there's a lot of money in your steelbook collection.
Yes, and that's the other thing. I put 26 steelbooks on. I've got £500.
I'm about to say none of them have dropped in value, have they?
No, and that's the thing.
Or some of them here and there, maybe, but like,
yeah, and this is the thing. How long will these steelbooks hold value for? I don't know, right? They could last forever. They could gain in value. I don't know. But at this present moment, I sold 28 days later for £138.
How much did you buy it for? Do you know?
I would have spent, at the time, because it was quite an old one, it probably would have been like 25 to 30 quid.
Fucking hell, man. So all that money that you effectively lost on your DVD collection, because obviously DVDs hold no value.
Yes. Yeah.
You might somewhat break back to even.
Maybe there'll definitely be some that won't have that much.
What are you going to do though?
still.
You're not going to keep any at all. Not even like your top 10 films. Like just go 10 out of 10 films.
See, this is another thing I've been contemplating, right? But then it's like, well, then where does it end? Because this is me. I can't help if I start thinking like that. I start thinking, oh, maybe I can keep all the DC films, and it's like, what's the point? What is the point anymore?
Would you not want to keep films that you like aren't on straight? If a film is on streaming or something like that, or you don't, you're like, okay,
everything's on streaming nowadays, apart from The Abyss.
Yeah, apart from the fucking Abyss, which is nowhere. Back to the well done to the 3 people who managed to find it and watch it, and I probably had it on Blu-ray anyway or something.
So at the moment, the only ones I've sold are, well, actually, I've sold one in my top 10 already. American Psycho's gone because it started with the A's. But I wasn't like, oh my God, I need to keep this one. So I'm thinking, why do I need to keep them? Because the fact that it's not that I get them out all the time and watch them.
Well, would you not think of like being really, I know it's a top 10 film, but like, even if you just kept and put them on display, then you get more satisfaction out of them. Like I've got some vinyls and I put them in a shelf, but then I've got 8 of them that can go on display, and it's almost like a magazine holder, and they're on display. They look really nice, and you get more satisfaction from them. They're not just sitting there in the shelf.
It would be nice if I had any wall space or anywhere to display them.
Yeah, but you might do in the future.
And not have 2 children who will just immediately rip them off the wall.
You can put them really high up.
In the top corner of the ceiling.
Yeah, just put them right above your TV, like pretty much you have to get a ladder on to get them off.
Or either way, getting 10, if I had 10 steelbooks in my top 10, that is nothing. Because all the ones that are in my top 10 are so cheap, right? They're not going to be the really expensive ones anyway.
Well, then again, you don't feel like you're holding on to value. Like, even if they dropped in value, you still got them.
Well,
I'd go through and sell the ones that are like worth, like you said, 128. There's just so much money. Just like, bam.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd do that, and then you've just made all your money back. And then there's some of them you like that maybe your top 10 film that's not on streaming, and you do want to have access to it.
We'll see. We'll see. It's a process I'm going through. It's going to take so long to sell because process. It's a process. Process. It just came out like that. I don't know why I said it like that. It didn't sound right, but it just came out like that. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But like, I can only sell 27 items on eBay at a time, and I'm checking. It's just a thing. You just have a limit.
Oh, before you've got to like pay for an account or something.
No, it's not even that. Everyone just has a limit, and then you've got to kind of show that you've got good feedback and stats before they give you any more leeway.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. To be fair, I don't think I've sold it much on eBay.
Yeah, I've been looking at
sell my ones down.
Yeah, exactly.
All I know, I've got a Hateful Eight one, which is worth quite a bit of money.
Am I gonna intrigue you and think maybe I should sell mine too?
I don't know. I mean, you've made me think I just don't watch them.
Yeah,
they just sit there looking nice.
I love them. I love them so much, but it became an obsession.
Again, I've got ones with like I bought the ones with different covers and stuff like that because I'm like, oh, they look cool. But
yeah, you know me, man. I had to create the films. I made custom versions of films that weren't on Steelbook because I needed them in the collection.
Would you still do that?
Serious I am. No, because it doesn't. There's no money in it.
See, my Hateful Eight Steelbook I've got is going for 70 quid on eBay.
There you go. Fucking just it's 70 quid that you've never had, and you could just watch Hateful Eight anywhere.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I actually used it, but I don't have all the cardboard and bits to go with it.
You don't need it. People don't.
They don't care.
No. But that's where I'm at the moment. It's my midlife crisis that I'm having.
And then what are you going to spend all of your... What's your collection going to be? Posters or something?
Nah, I don't need to collect anything.
You are going to have to... There's going to be an itch in you, Paul, that needs to have something.
I can't collect things because that's just my thing. I have to have everything That's why I need to give myself like kind of guidelines. Because I'm obsessive over these things.
I think it's a shame. I think it was a shame when you got rid of your DVD collection because you had like so many. Like you had a room full of them.
Mm.
But like I think there is something with Steelbooks that you do hold a little bit more precious with. It's been your personality pretty much for the last 6 years, so you might as well.
It has. But that's the problem in some senses.
I don't know. I feel like you could get like a nice little shelf from like a really high shelf, put it right above your TV. Your kids can't reach it, and you can have.
But it would have to be a very small amount. Yeah,
5 or 6 on there, and they just sit up there. They're really nice artwork ones.
We'll see. I'll get to that point when I have 6, and I'll tell you what I'm doing. At the moment, I have 250.
Yeah.
Everyone, we're doing The Abyss today. It's a 1989. It's a new round, Adam. Did you know that?
Yes.
We're doing a new round today.
Yes. I don't have to remember all the films that we watched 6 months ago.
Exactly.
So, to be fair, it's probably going to take us 6 months to get through this year as well, so...
Probably. We'll see.
We're already struggling. As you probably worked out, we're already a man down.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Ben's not here. Yes, everyone. I did kind of do that in the intro, but Ben is not here. But it's okay, because we're going to man the ship. As everyone knows, our patrons kick off the rounds with what films we want to do, and subsequently, the year of that film is the round we're doing. So, 1989, we're not going to reveal what film we're doing from KT and OT from For Your Reference till the end of the episode, because that is the film that kicked off in 1989. Today, we're doing The Abyss, and our patrons at a certain level, they get the opportunity to jump into any round they want at any point during the year. So Luke Human, he said, hey, I want to jump onto that 1989 round and do the Abyss special edition version of it. But as we just found out, I've watched the special edition, and Adam, it seems like you haven't.
No, I haven't, because it's a hard film to find, let alone when you have to go to special edition versions of it. So
yes,
I couldn't watch the edition that Paul found for some reason, and so I had to find it, and the only reason I could get this film watched was to watch the standard edition. So we're probably going to spend half the film saying, oh, I saw that bit, I didn't see that bit.
It might be a lot of that, but we'll see what we both think about it. I guess we know how Ben feels, but we can reveal that later.
Yeah, we know how Ben feels. I don't think the people at home know how Ben feels.
No, but that'll come later.
He has sent us a voice note, I think, to play in, but he only sent it to us just as we started recording, so I don't think we've listened to it.
No, I haven't listened to it either. Right, so let's kick off this episode. First of all, we got to do what we do for every beginning of a round, and we chat through some stuff that happened in 1989. Do you want to hear some stuff that happened, Adam?
You were conceived.
I was conceived in 1989.
Paul was conceived to The Abyss.
Yeah, to The Abyss.
Very special film for him.
Very special film. Holds a place in my heart. But also, Tim Berners-Lee, a software engineer working out of Switzerland, who understood the unrealised potential of millions of computers connected together through the internet. Guess what he created?
The internet.
World Wide Web, baby. It was invented in 1989.
Was it?
Game changer. It was basically just invented for porn mostly, but, you know.
I mean, isn't it like 70% of the internet is pornography?
Absolutely, yeah. Most things are created just for porn purposes.
Also found out apparently the other day, one of our patrons, Francis Sabarini, told us that if you click on the first word link of Wikipedia, not like the it says the little numbers or the hyphen bits that take you into the page, but if you take onto the first word that takes you into a separate Wikipedia page, if you click in the first word, it might take you a load of clicks, but eventually you'll always end up on philosophy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently Wikipedia always goes back around to philosophy. If you just keep clicking enough words, you'll end up at philosophy.
Oh, interesting. Nice.
If you're bored, you can try that.
It's like the getting to Kevin Bacon. Is that
exactly.
kind of game?
That's 7 degrees of like this could be like 40 clicks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yes, World Wide Web. Also, the Berlin Wall came down for showing the end of the Cold War. There you go, 1989.
9th of November.
9th of November.
That's 5 years before I was born.
He's got the knowledge. Lovely. The very first episode of The Simpsons aired.
Yes.
As well as Seinfeld.
Really?
Yeah. Both of your favourites, you and Ben, isn't it? Simpsons and Seinfeld?
Oh, well, I enjoyed Seinfeld. I know The Simpsons we watched repeatedly. Seinfeld,
I'm saying
watched it.
One of Ben's. Ben's the Seinfeld.
But Ben probably has changed his mind since recently.
Maybe.
I think Jerry's gone very off the rails. Or even more than he was before.
Exactly. Nintendo came out with a Game Boy. The handheld video game has also sold over 150 million units worldwide since then.
Wow.
Gotta love a Game Boy. What first Game Boy you got from your age?
I had the grey one first.
Oh, you got the
I'd
old
had
the
it when I
original.
was probably I want to say 6 or 7, I reckon. I had one that was, I
Nice.
remember having a blue one that was all see-through.
Can you believe you could never play it in the dark?
You used a little light that goes on top of it, didn't you?
Yeah, you need the little light, and you get that little window that magnifies it.
Yeah.
Sexy Game Boy.
I remember having Wario on it. That's one of the only games I had.
What did you just say?
Wario.
Oh, I thought you said Mario.
No, I had Wario. I remember just playing
Wario.
as Wario all the time.
Yeah, I remember having that game. Very good. What's the top grossing movie of 1989, Adam?
The Abyss.
Think about it. 1989. 89.
Then what came out in 89?
89.
789.
Normally this film has the name of it, and then people say 89. Because it's kind of a signifier of what film everyone's talking about.
I don't know. Star Wars. not Star
Batman!
Wars.
Batman!
Do they say Batman 89?
Yeah, Batman 89, boy.
They maybe do it in your circles.
And that's all the stuff I've got. But also, on the Film Busters podcast exclusively, we've covered 2 films already from 1989. And they are Tetsuo the Iron Man and Blind Fury, that horrible film that you guys watched when you were drunk. So, there you go.
Well, let's see if The Abyss is any better.
Let's see if The Abyss is any better. First of all, let's just quickly plug our Patreon at www.patreon.com/filmbusters, where you can get exclusive episodes. You can suggest films for us to watch, just like Luke Humer's done today. You can suggest a film that basically subsequently picks a whole round for us to do, like For Your Reference done. And it's just a wonderful place to be. What are we doing on the Patreon after this episode, Adam?
We're doing nuclear war films, or films that are on the threat of nuclear war.
Yes, and that's come from Mr. Luke Human himself. That's another perk you get as a patron. You basically just say, hey, this is the Patreon episode I want you to do alongside the film I want you to do. We spoil these guys.
As Adam Googles films about nuclear war.
Of course you haven't done it. Staple Adam. This is what you do every time, but we love you for it. Yeah, that's www.patreon.com/filmbusters. Other than that, shall we move on to talking about The Abyss?
Yes.
Let's do it, baby.
An American nuclear submarine went down. Your company has authorized the Navy's use of this facility for a rescue.
My people are not qualified for this. We're oil workers.
Lieutenant Koff will transfer it down to you with a SEAL team.
You'll do absolutely nothing without direct orders from me.
There is something down there. Something not us. Not human.
Right, everyone, today we're doing The Abyss from 1989, special edition and theatrical version, apparently. So
Yep.
we might have varying
We've got you all covered over
degrees
here.
of thoughts. Yes, exactly. It's what I like to do. It's what we did for Hard Ticket to Hawaii. You did the non-naked version.
Oh, yeah. We've done this before, yeah.
We've done this before. That was an accident. But, it's happened before. So it's a spoiler episode. You might want to go watch the film first, in whatever format you want, and then come back and listen, and we'll tell you all about it, baby. Even if you can find it, that is. Maybe if you have a physical copy on Steelbook, which doesn't exist. We've done some people who've been in films we've done before on the podcast. Can you guess any, Adam?
I guess Ed Harris is going to be on it.
Ed Harris, but you'll never guess it's Creepshow. He was in the Father's Day episode with Bedelia's Cake.
Okay. Ben likes Bedelia's Cake, doesn't he?
Yeah, he very much does. Come on, there's 2 big uns that are basically in a film they both did together.
I don't know now. Who else was in this?
Who helmed this film?
James Cameron.
Yeah.
What would he have done? Alien? Would he do Aliens? Was he Alien
Yes.
or Aliens?
He's Aliens. He did
Okay.
Aliens. And that's got Michael Biehn in as well, so...
Okay.
But there's one other person you'll never get. It's Kimberly Scott, who plays One Knight, who drives a little submarine with a crane lift on it, wherever it is. And she was in Batman and Robin. So there you go. That's the only other person. Adam, would you
Yes.
like to give us a little plot rundown of this film?
Yes. This film is about a submarine that's crashed. And then the Americans send down some other divers or a diving squad to go get the submarine before the Russians can get to it because it's got nuclear warheads on it. But there's other stuff going on.
Do you know, I just thought this is like the opposite of Armageddon.
I can't remember if I've seen Armageddon.
Armageddon's about people working on an oil rig or like digging for oil, and they get sent into space. But here they get sent down into the depths of the abyss. So there you go.
Yes. But anyway.
Right, I better give you some trivia. Ben's not here, so he can't do it. I will say, the end credits were famously shortened to a run under 5 minutes in 1989 in order to hit a target runtime and maximise daily showings. Doing so also made the crawl almost illegibly tiny and fast. You know, like at the end of like a TV show.
Mine's normal speed, but yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think they adjusted it.
Yeah.
I think they adjusted it again, but it was just in the theatres, pretty much. But that's ridiculous. Run is so fast. I always hate that. It's like you can bet if you focus on one name, you could see it.
Yeah.
But can't really do it. Real oxygenated fluorocarbon fluid was used in the rat fluid breathing scene. Dr. Johannes Klisterer and Dr. Peter Bennett of Duke University pioneered this technique and consulted on the film, giving detailed instructions on how to prepare the fluid. The only reason for cutting to the actors' faces was to avoid showing the rats defecating from momentary panic as they began breathing the fluid. I mean, that was a hard scene to watch.
So it actually works then?
It actually works, Adam.
Okay, I thought they were just taking the fucking piss.
No, that's what I thought as well until I read into it and I was like, fucking hell, this is an actual
This
thing.
does change my perception of the film a little bit.
Yeah, I was very annoyed and I had to immediately research it. But
okay.
Because they cut it from so many like UK theatre releases and most of the like debuts of it on TV until they basically put it back eventually. But it's an actual thing, and it's even humans could do it, but it's so hard to get it going because you have to literally breathe in the liquid.
Okay,
it's just a horrendous thing.
Well, we'll talk about this in a minute then.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a real thing. Ed Harris reportedly punched James Cameron in the face after he kept filming while he was nearly drowning. And Ed Harris has publicly refused to speak about his experiences working on the film, saying, "I'm not talking about The Abyss, and I never will. The Abyss was a lot of things. Fun to make was not one of them." And just to say, Ed Harris did not put the breathing fluid in his helmet. That was just some trickery, camera trickery, basically, I think. It was probably, I imagine it was probably like in front of, they probably had two separate visors.
Yeah.
One filled with liquid, one wasn't. Yeah. And finally, 41 cuts were made to the theatrical, making a difference of 29 minutes and 37 seconds. Whereas the special edition had 10 cuts that were originally in the theatrical with a total of 34 seconds. So that's the big difference in this film. I've watched 29 minutes more than you, Adam.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's a big boy. And I can tell you, it's got an alternate ending.
Okay. That's
like
why you wanted us to watch
massive ending that's different. So
okay. So have you seen the non-version before? Or did you know this from reading
I've never
it?
seen. I went straight into the special edition.
Okay.
But I'm interested to... I mean, we'll get into it. So, Adam, this is Luke's pick. So, because no one here picked it, you get to decide whose first impressions you want first.
I'll go first because mine's shorter, and then we can talk about the differences, and you can talk. You can do your director's cut afterwards.
Okay, go on then.
Yeah, there is a film in here that is enjoyable, but for me, the immediate reaction I got in the first half of the film was like, "Oh, this is like Aliens, but fucking Disney made it."
Okay, fair enough.
And it's just like, well, what are we doing here? We're just fucking poncing around under the sea. Like, where's the threat? What's going on? Like, oh, can we do this dive? Can we do this not? We're just like dicking around, and it was just like, fucking hell, get on with this film. Like, it starts off like so dark and like, and it's like, okay, like, this is like the guy who just made Aliens. Like, he made Aliens what, a year or two before this, maybe. This must have been his next film after it. Pretty much.
Yeah, because the next one was Terminator 2.
Yeah, and it's like fucking like you can see it in there, but it's almost like someone's gone, oh, we like what we did with Aliens, but like let's make this now for a family film so other people can get in it, and let's make it like a 12. And you're just like, for fuck's sake. And then it just kind of went to like an Avatar prequel, in my opinion.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's almost like make this film. This should have been like the first Avatar film, or explain the fucking Avatar 2 water people bit. Like this could have been like a whole world. You can see where all of those kind of ideas, the look, everything like that has come from. But overall, yeah, it's a good film. But like, I don't know if I go down another half an hour of it, because it's like there's not a lot really going on, in my opinion. It's just a lot of people hanging around and doing some dives, and then it's like, will they do this, did this, and it's like the whole emotional scenes. And then again, it lost me a bit when they were doing this whole breathe in this water and then you can survive outside. I'm like, that's bullshit. That's not happening. Why are we doing this? Like, it's like we're trying to be a serious film here, and then it kind of goes to that leap, and then it kind of goes to the big leap at the end, which we'll probably get to in a minute. And I'm like, oh, okay, like what are we actually doing here?
That's fair. I am actually wondering now whether the special edition is the ultimate, because it kind of gives you a bit more stuff to kind of grasp onto in terms of the otherworldly bits. Because there's definitely a massive difference to the ending that kind of, I guess, pays off what they're trying to say in the whole film. But anyway, considering it is 3 hours long, I surprisingly didn't feel the runtime until its last 30 minutes for me, but that might just say something about what was actually pulling me into the story and what wasn't, because I will reveal the alternate ending at the end. Considering it is about an otherworldly presence under the water, one that pretty much initiates the plot, because that's what puts the submarine underwater. It also becomes everything the plot rides on in the end, especially in the special edition. It's actually the least interesting thing about the story for me. I was actually gripped more by the drama once our main characters were plunged into the depths and succumbing to the dangers of being underwater. It does have that classic Cameron feel, like Aliens does, combined with his obsession with water, as you say, with Avatar, and as well as this kind of, I think, the cool science elements like fluorocarbon. And I only think they're cool because I realised it was a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I can see what you mean about the Disney stuff, because that is, I thought going into this film that the otherworldly thing was a threat.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a threat, but yeah, it is more Disney than anything, isn't it? So, but the sets were very incredible. To be filming underwater all the time is just so groundbreaking for the time, I'm sure. And I especially love the aesthetic when we first board the submarine, and all that, the papers floating around just looks so haunting and pretty beautiful. But this film is just unnecessarily long, and it is because of all the alien stuff, which is just pointless and feels almost tacked onto a very interesting thriller about being stuck underwater, basically. Cameron's bottom film for me, but mostly because I think everything else he's done is just great. So that's my first impressions. Okay.
See, some of the stuff that James Cameron does annoy me, because I think he gets too fanciful when, like, he's good at, like, other stuff. And that's when I was like, okay, I didn't know I had no idea what the feel of this film was going to be like. I don't think I'd even seen the poster until I put it on. So I was like, okay, like, yeah. But then it's just like, oh, the Americans have sent us down to pick up their nuclear submarine, let's do that. And I was just like, okay, but like, why? What's, like, I know the depth of water is stopping you, but like, and there's a storm coming, but like, and then they have all this something out there, and it turns out to be this weird fanciful world, which is like not a threat, but it's just there. And it's just like, oh, that literally is the thing that's causing you all this problem. Like, I don't know, if it like the Russian submarine, or is it like a fucking monster out there? It's like, that would have made this film better for me, in my opinion. I don't want those kind of big action films, they didn't need that, but like the way they set up this film, in my opinion, and then you see what's actually the threat, I'm like, oh, okay.
It's like a jarring mashup of like two separate different films, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like there is definitely a distinct point, like almost an hour and a bit in, of like, okay, now this is now going this way. When she starts seeing those things, you're like, that's not a jellyfish. Obviously you can see it's a thing. So you're now like, okay, there's fucking something down here that's like mythical and like an underwater world of like fucking reminded me like Jar Jar Binks fucking lived. Right?
It is like the wonder of being on Pandora, isn't it? Like seeing all these like,
and it's almost like, okay,
crazy
like,
luminescent things.
Yeah, just commit to one or the other. I think is like where this film needs to go, and by doing neither, it just goes, oh.
See, I was more wrapped up in them being stuck underwater. Was that not at least something you were interested in? Like them literally...
Yeah, but then it's like, I don't know, again, maybe this is the thing of like, we've seen films of people stuck underwater and you depth, and then so you just overcome it by having this liquid. You're like, oh, we can just go swimming out there because like we're not going to get crushed and all that type of shit, and it keeps us alive. And you're like, oh, like you've now got your get out of jail card for this now, so like we know that you can do it. Stop. Okay, it's going to sound jumping quite towards the end there, but when he goes out to do the last swim and they're running out of oxygen, I'm just like, I don't know. It was like, there's two moments in this film which actually really kind of fucked me off. It was when, this is now going to get into very spoiler territory, guys, but when she dies,
I love that bit,
and he gets her back to life.
What is that? 2 separate bits or the one bit?
Well, like that whole moment, like
yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm like, oh fuck, you've killed off one of your main characters here. Now I get this, and then he just gets really angry and slaps her to shit. Like, you've done enough fucking, what do you call it, defib things. You've done enough chest to press. You slapping her around the face is not bringing that woman back alive. Like, she's gone. Like,
They did do another chest compression and another defib though afterwards before that.
Yeah,
unless they cut
first
it.
aid
Unless they
course.
cut it.
Yeah, it was just like a whole moment of thing. I'm just like, and then she's back, and I'm like, okay, again, for me in that moment, you've removed the stakes. You're like, if you could drag her back with no mask, she's unconscious, whatever, like, you just about believe it when the fucking divers did it to those Thai boys in that cave in the rescue. You're not doing it at whatever depth they are underwater. Like, she would immediately be crushed.
This is the thing. I don't think they have a good way of identifying how much the pressure is outside of the submarine, because there's one point where they just literally swim out.
Yeah,
and they have
and you're
no
like,
protection.
okay, what is the threat? This is what I mean. What is the threat here?
Yeah, like surely you could just swim up if you're at this
just
step.
fucking okay. There's a nuke. You can't touch nuclear, whatever. But like, yeah, like what is actually stopping you and taking you 2.5 hours of this film to do it? Okay, yes, obviously we find out in a roundabout way, but then when he dies and goes out there and he's like, oh, I knew it was a one-way trip. I'm like, but now I know you're like, they were just knew in your head the way this film was going, the whole fantasy, the whole I love you across the screen. You're like, I don't know. Even their relationship seemed a bit like they were just shagging, and then suddenly next minute they're like fucking husband and wife and in love with each other.
See, this is another thing they've definitely cut out from the theatrical, because there are multiple scenes that don't appear in the theatrical that do in the special edition, that kind of brings you a bit more into their relationship and their history and kind of the kind of energy between them and how they kind of do like each other, but they're kind of pushing away from it. And
okay. Well, I'm going to apologise now to Luke. Luke, I am sorry I didn't watch your special edition version just because it is impossible to find.
Well, I think it's good we have a varied take on
have this
on a film.
conversation.
It's good. So I might still end up rating it the kind of same as you. I'm not sure, but it's just it does because okay, this is the thing. Do you want me to just tell you what happens? The alternate ending?
Do you want me to tell you my ending first?
I kind of know what happens because I've read into it and I've seen what happens.
He dies effectively on that ledge and then gets dragged into this fucking mythical palace, and you're like, when they started doing that, I was even more off. Like, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, what is this film? Like, it's gone from being, again, effectively another Aliens film. Like, what's out there? We're now stuck in the world, like underwater. Great. What's attacking us? Oh, we don't know. Great. Like, but when you find out that's the bad,
and it's not even attacking them.
Yeah. And then the world comes out with the ship, and then it's just like floating on the water with the ship on top of it, and then that's it.
Yeah, and it raises them up.
Yeah,
doesn't it? Okay.
And like,
well,
that's it.
So basically, I will read you the exact thing. This is what the description of what happens. So The sequence of the aliens in their underwater ship has been greatly extended and now involves a whole extra twist to the plot. When Bud is taken inside their ship, they show him an assortment of images on a giant screen. The first few images are of the news reports about the NATO and Russian military build-ups, which is stuff that's been cut from the theatrical, right? You keep seeing news reports of like Russian military and NATO stuff.
See, we don't see any of that. You just hear, well, it could be the Russians.
Yeah. This is the thing, because it's all about getting this nuke from a submarine and the kind of tension between all these men under the ship. It's kind of all comes together in this final conclusion. But Bud realizes that the aliens can pick up our television signals and have been monitoring our TV stations. The next report is a seismologist discussing heavy seismic signals coming from the Earth's ocean towards the coast of every continent. Bud is then shown an image of yet another TV report, this time an on-location report on a beach where an enormous tidal wave, thousands of feet high, is heading towards the shore. People are running and screaming in panic as the wave gets closer. Bud realizes that it is the aliens who are controlling this wave. And then basically the wave, because they can control water, the wave stops just before it's about to hit people and just stands there still. And then it's basically just a threat to show that we can just destroy you all if you don't get along.
Okay, that sounds better, but also a little bit like...
This is the thing. It's better than your ending, but it's also
it's
silly.
Still not great. No. It's still silly. And again, it feels completely out of tone for the rest of the film.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's almost like Walter's like, get along or we're going to destroy you. And I get the messages, like water is all powerful. Like you can't control water. Like we have you can put it in a glass, but like it's just sitting there looking at you like, all right, if you do anything wrong with this, I'm fucking your sofa up. It's going to be wet.
It's not like they're water. They're aliens that have just come from apparent space and are able to manipulate liquid, right? So it's not like they are water. Yeah, it's like they're Aquaman, right? And which is weird because in your theatrical version, it makes all of that stuff pointless. There pretty much might as well not be any aliens in it.
Yeah.
Because it's like so the reason they were in it was to show Bud that she loves him. Was that the reason the aliens were in your theatrical version? Because there's no other point, right?
They were just there. They just saved them effectively.
Yeah.
They just like, they were a bit like, oh look, you've retrieved the warhead or whatever it is. You've done your bit. We're now, it's like they seemed like the big birds in Lord of the Rings. It was like, okay, now you've done your thing. We'll take you home. We'll save you from the last moment so you don't actually die doing this. We like appreciate what you tried doing. And you're the good guys because you're like trying to clean up and make the peace. But you fucked it up and you're dead, but we'll actually save you.
I think there's definitely something to say about the special edition being better because the more exploration of what these beings are actually there for, or like it seems like they're there to monitor human race in some senses and hidden away in the depths where they can't be found, and just monitoring to see if the human race deserves to be alive, potentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, this has always been James Cameron, isn't it? Just he loves tackling human beings and their just like the whole ecological thing of how humans are ruining the planet and nature deserves to take the planet back away from us.
But there's like, I don't know. It's like putting a big little bow on it and making it all like a Disney. Again, it felt very Disney in places. It felt like it was aliens, but we can't add the big scary threat into it because it will scare kids. But we want to get the mess. I don't know. Yeah.
I can see that definitely. It's a hard one.
I don't know. I think there is a thing with James Cameron of like he's incredible at creating worlds.
Yeah, definitely.
And creating stuff, but as a storyteller, I don't always think I get along with his storytelling. And I think it works on something like Titanic because that is meant to be a fairy tale, mythical kind of... That is what it is. It's a love story. It's kind of like, yes, you get from the moment that this is a fantasy story, like, it's meant to be a fairy tale. But when you're doing it on
set
stuff
to a
like...
true life event kind of thing.
Yeah, but when you're doing it on stuff like this, in my opinion, that isn't the type of film that's been set up here. and then why it doesn't quite land and it doesn't quite work on quite a few levels. And I guess with Aliens, he might not have had the say on Aliens, because he might have been like, I don't know how he was brought into it, to be honest. He might have been like a bit more director to hire, and like, oh, you want to make a film, if you want to make The Abyss, you need to make us that whole thing of like, if you make this film, we'll see how it goes. So you're kind of a bit more led of which way, which is incredible. It's fucking, I don't know. It just felt very in between two ideas. Oh god.
Yeah, definitely. It's two ideas that he's kind of mashed together that don't work as one, especially in tone, because I guess it kind of works in the special edition because you get that kind of threat from them at the end, but they're too Disney-like. They are. Yeah. They're just these like kind of beautiful floating creatures who are given helping hand, and you get the whole bit of the water floating through the ship, and it turns into the face of the people. That was in your edition, right?
What, the ship turns into the face?
No.
When they're lifting it up?
When the water floats in to the ship.
I don't remember it making a face.
Yeah, and their face appears on the water. Do you know, like the water gets manipulated, and it raises him through the. Do you know, like they have that bit in the part of in the submarine where they can submerge the submersibles.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and it's got the layer of water.
Yeah.
One of the aliens manipulates the water, and the water floats into the ship and through the corridors. Did you see this bit?
No, I don't remember this bit.
Did they cut that from that? Ugh.
I don't feel like they would have done, but
yeah. Well, basically, they end up. This is where they all see as a group that this water's floating in, and there's clearly some otherworldly thing there, and they start looking at it, and it's like just very playful. And it starts mimicking their own faces and looking at them.
It feels like probably like Moana, like Moana.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know.
And this is the thing as well, because all these things happening, they get distracted with this otherworldly thing, but there's supposed to be this massive threat of them being like they only have 7 hours of oxygen.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have more important things to do, and why aren't you panicking?
Yeah.
And how to get out of this. It's like, hurry up. It's like, stop
That's
worrying
what I mean.
about this
It's
thing.
almost like
and
the threat that's they're actually meant to be there. They don't actually give a shit about it at all during the film. They don't give a shit that they're underwater. They don't give a shit it's taking them ages to do bits. They don't give a shit that they're going to run out of time. They don't give a shit about actually the threat of like, if this nuclear bomb goes off, we're dead. That's why I know it's quite difficult to get on board with what the threat is, and then that's why when this thing comes around at the end, you're like, oh, okay, is that it?
No, that's not even a threat.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's helping you, but it's not helping you. And like, again, the film, don't get me wrong here, the film isn't bad, and the film wasn't unenjoyable. I quite enjoyed it, sat down, watched it. I wasn't like, oh, this has got to end. I know from what we've heard from Ben, before we actually hear his notes, he did feel quite differently on that.
Yeah.
But it's just when you get to the end and you're like, oh, was that it? That's when it's a bit like, it's a horrible thing with a film. It can be all right, but then if it leaves that sour taste in your mouth, I think that's almost worse than it being bad from the outset.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially when it's so long. And also, like, the bits that you say are great, but like, you could have integrated that film quite easily within the stuff that you're saying in this film.
Yeah,
I could have found you 20 minutes to cut out of this film, and I'm not an editor.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in the special edition, I feel like they don't flesh out this otherworldly thing enough for it to be a satisfying ending either, really.
Again, do you reckon it was like he was restricted by studios and like, oh, like you can't tell this full picture? But then again, I feel like you're better off sticking in one thing or the other. Like, you're better off only having half an hour of the thing, and then, okay, oh shit, the next 2 hours is, okay, this is the Abyss, the nuclear, whatever, these alien people.
This is the thing. Okay, let me say some positives, because there was some things I did like. I was surprised when about 30 minutes in they'd already found the sub, and I was like, what is this next hour and a half going to be?
Well, they made it very obvious they could find it. They put up a little beacon. It was like, oh, it's there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was surprised about how they were going to drag this film out so long. And I didn't feel the length, as I said, until the last half hour. And that last half hour is, from that 30 minutes, is where I'm pretty sure he starts going to the depths. as you said, which was like, I'd have no threat anymore. And he's breathing all the fluid and stuff, which is interesting. And I was constantly thinking, is Ed Harris actually submerged in this water at the moment? Which obviously he wasn't, but it was an interesting thing. But I did start to think, okay, I don't care about these otherworldly things now. The thing I did find interesting was them trying to get out. And yes, they were kind of longing it out and worrying about this otherworldly thing rather than trying to get out, which was annoying. But I was still kind of with it to an extent. And I also am very like positive on how it all looked. It looked amazing. Like all the set building.
The time when it was, if you forget that this film was like in the 80s, it felt very like late 90s. It felt very, yeah, and it looks so good when they first boarded that sunken submarine, and they're going through the corridors, and it's just like, I guess it's just paperwork that was left on the submarine, and it was all like broken up and floating around the room, and it looked like so beautiful and so well done. Like the aesthetic of it was beautiful. I love that. I really did like the her almost dying, because I felt the threat. But at the same time, it's like I don't understand how the pressure works in this environment. Is it like, do you know how pressure works? Right, obviously, when the submarine gets taken down, right, or in the real life situation where that sub went missing, and obviously it impacted and it crushed, right? Are the people in the submarine, do they have to like go down to a certain pressure, or is it just its own sealed pressure in there? Is that why it exploded? I feel like there was they didn't really explain why the submarine crashed.
I'm talking about the real life situation.
Oh, what, in the Titanic?
No, when the submarine went missing. The
Titanic one.
The Titanic one, yeah.
I think
it's because it was normal pressure inside, right? And
it went down. I think it went down at wrong speed or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
You just, because when they said it when they came up, I was like, we didn't decompress. Like, that's what fucks you up, isn't it? Yeah.
So I'm guessing if they were down that deep, technically they would be able to get out and swim, right? Because they're at the same pressure. I don't know how it works. I don't know the science.
I feel like you've realised the pressure, the thing of water is quite like if you go down to the bottom of a swimming pool, your ears hurt, don't they?
Yeah.
Because it's like that's the amount of pressure that is going onto your body, and that's 2 meters down. I think
surely you wouldn't be able to just go straight into
it's like
the water.
Anything more than 100 meters, like how far could a human swim without a suit? Apparently 122 meters is the deepest anyone's gone without a suit.
Well, they must have been deeper than that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like, okay.
Yeah. So I think they didn't really explain that well enough, like how in some instances they could have a suit on, in other instances they couldn't, and it wouldn't bloody implode your body as soon as you get out into the water. But I still enjoyed the stakes of that whole apparent death scene with the ex-wife, and I felt the emotion from Ed Harris. I think he put that across well, and I quite enjoyed that film. I quite enjoyed that scene.
I did not enjoy most of this film. It's just when it comes around to it and it's left it, I was just like, okay, is that it? Is that what you've been building up to? Which kind of left me a little bit annoyed. And I am sorry, again, I'm going to apologise to you, Luke. You told us to watch the right version. I watched the wrong version, so I could only put that on myself. And by the sounds of it, Paul enjoyed it a little bit more, maybe because it fleshed it out. But at the same time, I don't think it would change my rating of this film by more than a point.
See, this is it. I don't know if it will as well, because even watching the special edition, yes, it might have been annoying that I had to watch an extra 30 minutes, which was the extra 30 minutes that got tacked on, right? Which is the bit that I found was going on for too long. But it feels like most of the stuff that got taken away was most of the extraterrestrial or otherworldly stuff. And that's the bit that I didn't like, right? So I'm thinking if I watched the theatrical, maybe I would enjoy that more. I don't know. But at the same time, it means it makes all the extraterrestrial stuff pointless in being there in the first place. So it's like between a rock and a hard place for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell you unless I watched the theatrical.
But you have, in the nicest way, no reason to do that anytime soon.
Yes, exactly. I don't think I do. How about this rat scene? Were you really uncomfortable?
Not really.
For me, it was still uncomfortable to watch that rat scene.
I mean, again, it was like, you could tell that they were doing it to a real life animal, but like at the same time, I'm like, are they actually putting this animal through pain? Like, I thought they were cutting it in a nice enough way to make it not look, and did some practical effects. And I guess it's the kind of the horrible thing that we've been dehumanized to, like just seeing animals on set. But like, I kind of thought, well, this is a big Hollywood film. It's not like fucking what's the Wake and Fright.
Yeah,
like
the kangaroos.
If they're doing this, they're doing it in a way this animal doesn't feel in pain. But maybe it's slightly different now, knowing it. They did it in a practical way, but also knowing the animal didn't die.
Yeah, that always helped. That's what I needed to make sure. I need to make sure about that, because I was thinking, surely they did this shot multiple times, and they're going to put loads of rats through the same thing. But I don't know. But either way, it obviously, I'm like, oh god, how can they be doing this to animals? But also the fact that it's a very practical thing that can actually happen in real life. I'm like, oh, it's kind of interesting. Does the size outweigh the fact they're using it on animals? Kind of
and she also done it to Ed Harris as well. Because,
that fucking hell. If they did, I can't even imagine what it'd feel like. Imagine breathing in, because it wasn't like a proper watery water. It was like a little bit gloopy. It felt like it's like, man, breathing that in slime. Fuck that. But also a thing that it really did add to that, speaking about breathing, is that at moments, especially when they're diving and stuff, I was holding my breath. It was making me breathe funny, thinking that they could not breathe. So that worked on me. So that's another thing I can add to a positive thing. One thing they did, I don't know whether they did it for you, but when she first sees the alien, whatever it is, outside, and they kind of play off a hysterical woman kind of thing, which was annoying, saying they didn't believe her.
Well, I was going to say this as well. It's like the female is only there because she acts like a man, and she's also the love interest. That's what it feels like to me. It's one of those classic, let's put a woman in
James Cameron all over, isn't it?
But like, you're only allowed here if you basically act and behave like a man, and you show the same characteristics as my male characters. You're not allowed to. You can be female, but you're not allowed to show any female traits. That's kind of what it felt like to me about her.
That's kind of James Cameron characters, though, isn't it? When you have Linda Hamilton,
and then they made it unnecessarily get her boobs out.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, for the death scene.
You're like, she's dead. Like, give her some dignity.
But I mean, how is she going to use the defibrillator?
I know, but like
off screen. Nobody look.
We're doing it now. Okay, she's not alive after one.
I did appreciate this bit. It was quite a funny kind of paying it forward that his hand was constantly blue from putting his hand in the toilet.
I didn't see that. I don't remember that bit.
Do you know he drops the ring into the toilet?
Yeah.
And he goes and retrieves it, and the water in it is some kind of blue tanks. Dye. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just dyed his hand for the whole film.
I thought that had to do with the oxygens, to be honest.
He just got a blue hand.
Yeah.
Did you have the scene where the ring got caught on the door?
I can't remember if I did, but
do you know when all the automatic doors were closing, and they had to keep running to get to the next section before it closed? And he put his hand in, and you think that his hand's crushed, but his ring gets caught in there, so it doesn't shut all the way. I thought that was quite a tense scene. I quite like that.
I mean, I don't know how money. I don't remember the scene, but yeah. Have we got Luke's opinion on this film?
Yes, we have.
Should we listen to that now? I feel like.
Do you think it's a good time to say it?
I think it is. Let's get another opinion in here.
Okay, let's get another opinion in the room. There's an aspect of awe here from what Cameron has accomplished from a filmmaking perspective that, as time and rewatches go by, almost eclipses the narrative itself. Yeah, I can kind of see that. However, there's such a strong sense of purpose in the story that, although sometimes clumsily handled, the ecological and philosophical themes played out in an unforgiving environment makes a meaty scaffold which to build a character-based sci-fi drama. It is the character dynamics that make the set pieces and story beats so impactful. Harris and Mastrantonio are both excellent and provide the emotional core of what is a brilliantly placed movie that as much impact on modern cinema as it had on the cast and crew during the production. While I'm not sure that additional scenes in the extended version are necessary, I like the way that the ramifications for humankind broaden the stakes for Deep Core's inhabitants and provide some spectacle outside of the plot's primary location. So he's talking about the tidal wave at the end then in that last bit, but he still doesn't know if it's necessary. So that's interesting, that maybe the theatrical was actually a better watch, but in your case, it still wasn't that good.
No, I feel like I agree with his points there. Like, but it's a bit like the whole. Again, I'm gonna have to compare it. I don't want to keep doing this, but it feels very much like Avatar. Of like, Avatar looks good. It's like it's impressive. It's like let's do all these bits, but then it's like at its core, it's just missing something for you to really care about all of these issues.
Oh, see, I still think Avatar's great because I think it looks good.
Again, it goes on too much, and it's just like.
It's a simple story. That's the thing. It doesn't really like do anything amazing with the story. It's more like the world building and how it looks that's pretty incredible.
And the world building's good if it has more of a purpose and more of a meaning and stuff around it, rather than I don't know. Yeah, I just sometimes don't think there's enough. It's like you've almost got. It's almost like you've got this idea of a world and what you want to do, but then you're like, okay, now I need to make a story around it. Okay, we got that, and it's like it feels. They all feel like one act. Idea. They all feel like one act films. Like there's an act, but you can explain
it in one go.
Yeah, but you've now made it go across 3 acts for the sake of a story, and yet that's why it just kind of almost runs out of legs. Of like, are we still doing this? Like we did this
I can see that.
an hour and a half ago.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of how I feel.
I think so. In my eyes, I think the special edition is good for the fact that it broadens. I mean, if you think it's necessary or not, I don't know, but it broadens the relationship between Ed Harris and his ex-wife, and that kind of makes the moments feel bigger. Maybe that's why it felt bigger, the moment where she was almost dying, because you felt like there was a connection between them, so it felt warranted that Ed Harris would be so caught up in that. But yeah, the otherworldly stuff, I don't think it works either way for me, because it's just it is too Disney and too silly and too like neon and like here we go, floaty, and now we're going to try and kill everyone with a tidal wave.
Yeah, and then not.
Yeah, and then not. The stakes were there, but they almost forgot to tell the characters. Or the characters forgot that the stakes were there.
Yeah,
halfway
it was
through.
Just like, okay, we're just swanning around. Let's go out again. Oh, let's not. Let's go back again. Let's not. Let's do everything. Oh, let's not. Like,
oh, there's not enough oxygen. I can turn the tanks on and it'll give us more time. Okay, that doesn't mean you can just swan about there for ages. You still want to get out, right?
Exactly.
And they didn't get out. The aliens had to help them get out. So they didn't even help themselves. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm not sure. I would be maybe interested to watch the theatrical one day, just to see, but no time soon.
No, I don't think there's anything about this film that makes me want to revisit it. But
I would, if anything, maybe tell you to watch the end scene of the special edition. That's the only thing it really adds.
I'll try and find it. I will do it on that Internet Archive.
I don't think adding any like small scenes just to even the little small scenes they add, they kind of slightly added a bit of tension, but for the fact that they still not rushing to get out of their situation and it's dragged on for 3 hours, I still think like that didn't help. Because it makes it more silly that they're not trying to get out if you're putting the tension up. Well, should we just move on to rating this film, Adam?
Do you want to hear from Ben first before we rate it, or should we listen after we...
Let's hear from Ben now. Let's hear from Ben. Let's see what he says. Because he'll give his score now as well.
Good morning, fellow film busters and all listeners. I'm very sorry that I can't be there for the recording today, but I know it's in safe hands with Paul and Adam. Luke Human tasked us with watching The Abyss, and I watched it, I think, about 20 years ago. I own it, the extended edition, and I watched it once once did I watch it. It felt like an extended cut of Lord of the Rings, only without any of the joy. All I can remember definitively from it is it felt like about 2.5 hours of underwater science without anything engrossing or engaging. They kept dropping out of the submarine, I think, to go lower down to find something. And it was very dull, and I was very bored, and I couldn't connect to anything that was going on. I remember Ed Harris was in there. I remember Tony Montana's sister was in it. You know who I mean. Tony Montana from Scarface, his sister was in it. She was one of the scientists. And then at the very end, a very big wave came and almost drowned everyone and said, "Stop being naughty." It was Aliens, wasn't it? Should have been good, but it very much wasn't. The only good thing I remember from it was that massive wave coming to the beach and then pausing. So from recollection, 2.5 hours of nothing to get to a ahead of its time, perhaps, climate change message. But it was incredibly dull and arguably the worst thing Cameron's ever put his name to. It was a 5 out of 10 then, I believe, and it still is. Enjoy.
Oh, glad he wasn't here. He'd been so miserable. He sounds tired and sleepy and that, let alone with the energy of talking about this film. He would be grumpy.
I actually forgot that was Tony Montana's sister as well. So
Yeah.
there you go. He brought a bit of trivia that I didn't even realise. Good stuff. Yeah. Go on. Do you want to put your rating to it, Adam?
Yeah, I'm going to go higher than Ben. I'm not going for a 5. I'm not going much higher. I'm just going to go for a 6.
Do you know what? I came out of the film thinking, I think that was a 7. I thought it was good. But now talking about it and like just as time's gone, I feel, I think it actually is a 6. Because it just didn't, I don't know. It was just an odd merging of things.
I was closer to a 7 than I am for a 5 with it, but yeah, it's kind of a 6.
Yeah. But we also get to add the score of Mr. Luke Human, and he gives it
10 out of 10.
an amazing 10 out of 10.
Wow,
Adam, he fucking adores it.
And then we just shat on his parade.
Yeah,
sorry,
that actually takes.
This is why we don't bring films that we like to the podcast, and this is why you guys shouldn't bring films that you like to the podcast.
But that takes...
And you didn't even have Grumpy Ben involved.
It was on a 5.7 from us, and that takes it up to a 6.75. It brings it up substantially. So, it gets the 6.8 in whole. So, taking it to our scoreboards, there's 4 other films that are on that score, and Luke brought us his first one. He wanted us to watch it. It's Night of the Living Dead from 1990, and personally, I think that is better.
Yeah, I'm going to go that's better.
Okay, there you go. Bottom of it. Actually, let me check what you fucking gave that film. You probably gave it low. You fucking gave it a 5, mate. You fucking gave it a 5. We can't...
Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it was better than this. I feel like I'm actually gonna argue this point. There are sometimes I can give a film a 5 and I can give a film a 6, but the film you give a 5 is somehow in a slightly way better than the film you give a 6 to, because of what the film is and how you probably really want to watch it.
Well, this is the thing. Okay, this is the thing. Ben also gives Night of the Living Dead a 5. So because he's not here, I will give you the decision whether you think Ben thinks Night of the Living Dead's better or The Abyss is better.
Ben's probably going to say Night of the Living Dead's better.
Okay, so there you go.
I feel
That's
from
where
his miserable report.
So The Abyss goes below the Night of the Living Dead at 6.8, but just above Sonatine on a 6.7. He's going to hate that so much.
He is going to hate that.
Oh my God, Jesus. Well, I mean, it's Luke. Luke, that 10 out of 10, you've angered Ben with that, I'm sure.
He'll be getting someone to change that Sonatine score.
Someone on the inside. Well, very good. There we go. That's our the Abyss episode. Very sorry that it wasn't all special edition, but it gave us a more varied talk about it, I think, Luke. So hope you enjoy what we offered you. Should we tell everyone what we're doing next?
Next episode, we've got a special guest, which is why it's taken slightly long for us to record, because it's not just the 3 of us. As you can see, it's impossible to get the 3 of us together, let alone when we want to add a special guest in this who lives on the other side of the world. But we will be filming with Katie from the Katie and OT For Your Reference podcast.
And hopefully OT as well.
Oh,
hopefully
maybe we
OT
push it so long where OT's back into...
Maybe. Hopefully we'll
back
bring
into
OT into the
contention.
mix as well. We'll see. But yeah, Pet Sematary from 1989.
Yes.
That's our initial first film that kicked off this round. So, have you seen this before?
I haven't seen... I think I might have seen that one, actually.
You have seen it. You
I
put
have
a rate
seen it,
into
yes.
it. So
I
you've
have seen it, yes.
I've seen what your score is.
I can't remember what my score is.
So that's what you got to look forward to next, everyone. Pet Sematary from 1989, another horror film. So
Yes.
that's pretty exciting. And we haven't spoken to Katie or OT
Hey.
in ages. So it'd be nice for them to come back on the podcast.
Which one did they last do?
Wonderful.
It wasn't Jesus Rolls
Last
or
thing
something,
was
it?
Two Popes, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that was the last time they came on.
Yes.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That was a long time ago.
Yes.
Right, everyone. That is it. That's what you got to look forward to. So, without further ado, we're just going to talk about our wonderful patrons who are at www.patreon.com/filmbusters. You could become wonderful friends with them and become wonderful family with them, just like the likes of Mr. Luke Bennett.
Yes, you can. You could also join Francis Cibarini.
You can also join Steve and Mark from Movie Drone.
Yes, you can. You can join the man who brought us this episode, Luke Human.
We've also got Brent from Home Video Hustle.
Yes, you have. You've also got Katie and OT from the For Your Reference podcast.
We got Sean Panda Nicholson.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You've got Jamie Russell from his own world of whatever podcast he's joining at the time.
Mr. Movie Jaw himself. And we've also got Mr. Nerd Rovert.
Yes, you can. You can also join Julio from the Contrarians.
And that's all you're going to join, everyone. That's our patrons right there, baby. That's everyone.
Oh, sweet. Smash that list.
Smashed it. Right, everyone. I guess we'll see you next time on Pet Sematary. Goodbye.
Goodbye for now.
Filmbusters.